Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Will. And here's his story. And Will, I guess, was having problems on Reddit, on the narc board, that something went down. He wanted me to look at it, and I don't go on the narc abuse boards on Reddit. I don't do I'm a Twitter troll, mostly, other than Paul and B as well. But I told him, let me see what's going on, because he said there's stuff about his personal life, and so here's his story. Okay, so the title is, Ollie, if you need to use a name, let's go with Will. This is word for word what I posted with 0 edits. If you think it is a bad idea, please tell me so. Here it goes. Fuck, my heart is pounding so hard. Title of I feel it in my bones. Title of the... Okay, that was the title of the post. This is pretty much one of the scariest things I've ever done. I've been with my wife for over 30 years. She is a global manager of a Fortune 100 company most of you will have heard of, if not transacted with. I'm going to call her Amazing Exec. I'm a trans guy. I do my best to keep that info private. My wife doesn't believe I'll ever out myself and use that against me. So, you're a woman? You were a woman, and now you're a man? You married her? Wait. You've been with her for 30 years? Wait a minute. So were you with her? Were you with her as a woman and then became a man? You were a lesbian? And now you're a transsexual guy. I think that's what that means. Okay. You left that part out of your other emails. She has heartlessly weaponized my deepest vulnerabilities against me in truly heinous ways. She started hitting me when I began my mental transition. All right, so yeah, you transitioned with her. So you started with her as a woman, as a lesbian relationship, and she's allowing you, staying with you as you transition as a man, I guess. She started hitting me when I began my mental transition as I prepped myself for the body work. She acted like they were harmless taps, but she started slugging me. But she was fucking slugging me. She kept telling me that it's okay for girls to hit boys. I totally knew it wasn't okay, but she wouldn't stop no matter what I said. I hadn't even started the physical changes yet. I waited 7 years for her to be ready. Well, wait a minute. You capitalized her here. Like it's on her that you want to be a man? Shouldn't be hitting you. But like it's on her. Like look, you capitalizing her makes it like, I waited for her to be ready before I became a man. Was she paying for you to become a man as well? During that time, extremely prematurely, she started announcing my transition to the entire fucking neighborhood, also our friends, her family, her workmates, and others. This was in direct opposition to my clearly expressed wishes, and her lack of discretion would later compromise my safety. Well, if you were becoming a man, what were you going to tell your friends? Like if you were starting your transition, I understand But you're going to have to tell them eventually, right? I mean, you're becoming a man. You're going from being whoever you were to Will. I mean, this wasn't going to be able to stay a secret. And maybe she needed somebody to talk to about this. You know, you're coming off as very narcissistic yourself here, like, for lack of a better word. I gotta call it like I see it. You, after how many years, you come to her, you say you want to be a man, and I'm assuming she's paying for it, and you're waiting for her to be, like, her to be ready. Shouldn't be hitting you. No, that's wrong. She needs to talk to people about it? Like, I would think so. Like, it'd be a pretty big thing, don't you think? How does that work if she's a lesbian? Now you're becoming a man? When the hitting commenced, she also started telling me that as a man, I was a failure and should be instantly remodeling the entire house and earning the big bucks and taking better care of her and so much stuff. She told everyone else how supportive she was, but after surgery, as soon as I finally began hormone treatments, she promptly told me she doesn't fuck mutant gender freaks and also informed me that she doesn't do boys. That eventually proved to be mostly true, as she's been freely sharing my personal info and mocking my body in the cruelest ways ever. So this is intensely humiliating. Fuck. One day, she had sort of pummeled me all the way down the hallway and had me backed up against the wall. Interestingly, this is the location I figured out was closest to the exact center of our house. Anyway, she kept hitting me and yelling in my face, and for the first time ever, I pushed her off me. She fucking instantly freaked out and started screaming about how I would go to jail for abuse. She worked in a law firm at the time, and she knows how I fear this so much, being a smallish trans guy and all. So you were a tiny woman to begin with, and now what happened in your past is what I would want to know. It doesn't sound like you're trans. It sounds like you're trying to surgically change your appearance to escape her. Because I'm sure it wasn't all cotton candy and ponies before this. Emotionally, the way this is written, this isn't written as it's from a man. This is written like it's from a woman. I have to be honest with you. This is written as if you. I feel like because you're because you're a biological woman, and that's not. I'm not making any statements on transsexual. I'm not. I'm making on you. This is on you. She's paying for all of this as well? It seems very entitled, I gotta be honest with you. The physical violence aside, and it is bad, lesbians do have the highest occurrence of domestic violence. And this goes to show you, instead of her divorcing you, she's trying to beat it out of you, which just goes to show you her fucking coping skills. You're both an unmitigated disaster, and it has nothing to do with you being transsexual. It has to do with your state of mind. It sounds to me like you're trying to surgically alter yourself into something that could stand up to her. And you can't do that. Physically, you're not a man. Emotionally, you're not a man. Well, another time, same hellway, she grabbed my fingers and looked me dead in the eyes while twisting so hard as she could. The thing is, she had done something similar a couple weeks before, and the fingers she grabbed and twisted were already taped up. I had wrapped them myself. Look. She's breaking your fingers with her hands. That's how women and men have different bone structure. A week or so after the second finger incident, I went to a clinic and listened to 3 doctors argue about the nature of the 3 spiral fractures on my fingers. I figured the confusion was over the re-breakage, but I didn't have the heart to say that. I also lied and told them I had been preventing a drunk driver from heading out. I told our friends it was a wee injury. Clever, eh? My wife is taller than me and outweighs me by at least 60 pounds. She specializes at coming at me when I'm at my worst and or sick and or injured. Her spirit animal is, no shit, the honey badger. Of course she's a lesbian. Like, this is lesbian mentality here. Not all lesbians, but this is the lesbian trying to be the alpha thinks they're the fucking honey badger, and they become, because they think that's, I'm going to be a bigger man than you want to be. You can't, because you don't like being dominated by this woman, and you never have, Will. So what do you think? You can surgically alter your way out of it into a man to fight her off? You can't. You can't. You have the frame and body structure of a smaller woman. She's going to dominate you. That's not, and again, I am not making no statement on whether it's right or wrong if you want to transition either way. Listen, I have my personal opinion about it, but that's not the statement here. Okay, do what you want to do. If you're an adult, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. I'm talking about you in this situation because this is insane. This is a domestic violence. This is a domestic abuse thing. This is an extreme, how do I get away from this woman situation. Or worse yet, how do I gain the through surgery, gain the physical upper hand? Because I don't think you want to give up the perks of being with Amazing Exec, where she's paying for all this, I would assume. If she's working at a law firm and you're writing off your injuries to your friend as we injuries, I'm going to make an assumption that you were the stay-at-home wife when you were both females, right? For my birthday last fall, she completely annihilated a once-in-a-lifetime event I was really excited about. She also broke some of my stuff and re-broke one of my fingers. I lost track of how many breaks now. A month or so ago, I pointed out that she had never apologized for any of the broken bones. Spoiler alert, she's never apologized for anything, period. Let me ask you something, Will. If you're now a man, she's breaking your fingers. She's breaking your fingers. She's making you miserable. She won't have sex with you because you're a genetic freak. Then what are you doing there? If it's for the money? For the money? What are you doing there? This is what she breezily said. Oh, I thought I had. Stuff like this breaks my fucking brain. My wife manages 2 multi-country territories, works with high-level execs in various locations around the planet, leads large, high-level trainings and security audits, and frequently has long global conference calls. She is so very thoughtful and nice and appreciative to the people she works with. Something I learned recently via a book regarding this subreddit. If they can control themselves around others, but not around you, they can control it. This blew my mind open in a most excellent way. Why am I here? Every single person of my entire life who I have reached out to has turned me away or told me to own up to my part, or the very worst, completely ignored me or cut me off with no explanation. I mean, look, as far as owning up to your part, I mean, it's if they're telling you, like, kind of see her side of this here, like, I don't know what you're saying. I mean, because it comes off as very entitled. The physical abuse, it seems like you're putting up with it because you want the money. The woman paid for all this stuff for you, and, like, I think I could see why you're having problems on Reddit. I'm so gutted. I've only recently started to realize what has been going on behind my back for all these many years. My wife has ruined every doctor-dentist relationship of mine in 2 countries. Literally no one will respond to me. I know that sounds so unbelievable. It is. It's fracturing my mind. Not a single one of any of these people have ever even once checked in with me to find out if there might be a different side to the horrendous stories she must be projecting. The horrendous stories she's projecting. Again, like, you went to her after how many years of being with her and said, I want to be a man. And she paid for it all. And now the stories she must be projecting, like, look, I'll be very honest with you, Will. The problem is in your head up here. Is whatever is in your past that is causing this level for you to be putting up with a woman, okay, who would abuse you, anyone who would abuse you, and you feel like you can't surgically change yourself to dominate another narcissist. You can't. And I have no doubt that your wife is a full-blown violent narcissist. I have no doubt. Takes 2 to tango, and that's what you don't want to hear from anybody. You have to look at both sides. There is two sides to this story, Will. Whether you want to admit it or not, there is. And it comes off very entitled the way you're. I am so in the dark. The dawning enormity of the blackening is seriously staggering me. Independent of my wife, my family rejected me for the gay, and again for the trans, and then probably for the bi, and also for leaving the Mormon cult. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Mormons. Who sexually abused you and made you a lesbian to begin with? Well, your father. Has to be. Has to be. You can't surgically change yourself into him to stop her. You can't do it. You can't do it. That's what happened. And because they seriously hate my wife and me, then they finally inform me I am not part of the family. Yet they are inexplicably furious that I'm not sending them money. They did not even tell me right away when my dad died. My dad is the only person in my life who ever apologized for hurting me. And I have some pretty good reasons to believe he really meant it. He did it 2 weeks before he died. Instant death via 16-year-old girl driving while cell phoning. My family waited until I would not have enough time to arrange travel to the funeral. A day after they let me know my dad was dead, my wife screamed at me, "You need to snap out of it now." I did not begin to realize the extent of my dire predicament for so very long, apparently because I also had not begun to realize the level of abuse I grew up in. I have nowhere to turn and no one to talk to. Guess I'll talk to the entire freaking internet. Otherwise, I'm not going to make it out of here. So many of you have shared strength with me in many, many ways, in my many years of lurking, while I tried to figure out what the hell is happening to me. I'm so grateful for that. I had no voice, and I have never posted or commented, but sometimes I've shared back what I could with a wee bit of gold. Thanks for listening. Peace, everyone. Amazing exec wife keeps breaking my tranny fingers and has cut off human support and medical care. I'm kind of low and lonely, but also very grateful for this place. I am stripped to nothing but truth. You cannot surgically change yourself. Look, if you're gonna surgically change yourself, you better do it for you. Because it seems like you're doing it for ulterior motives. You can't surgically change yourself to gain dominance over another narcissist here. You just can't. Physically, you're not a woman. Physically, you're not a man. Emotionally, you're not a man. You don't write like a man. And it comes off, a lot of it comes off as very spoiled and very entitled. Like a pampered wife. I'd have to tell you. You're a problem. And you got problems, clearly. Your problems are what are in your past or in your family history. Clearly are in your family history and are not going to be solved with this woman. This woman who I think you were trying to get away from before you transitioned into anything, and she paid for all of it. So it's alright. Listen, and I can understand. I don't know what happened on Reddit. I don't know the full details. Okay, but you have to understand, people are going to have strong opinions to your story, especially on a place like Reddit. Your place to work this out isn't on Reddit. It's in your past. It's in your past. It's in your family history that led you to make the decisions you have made in your life. So until you tackle that, you don't have much of a chance to fix anything else. So focus there and maybe get some answers, Will. And I hope that helps. Thank you for your contribution and your story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comments section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from you guys. Without you, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.